Yep. All right, we'll get started at 7:10. Let the record show that all board members are, except for Dean Milberg, our president accounted for. We'll add him as he arrives. And let's approve the consent calendar. Has everyone had a chance to review the consent calendar? We need approval for the June 12, 2017 minutes.
I recommend we approve as stated for the June 17 minutes.
Second.
Okay, Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Freaky,
Yes.
Jeff Clem.
Yes. Moving on to new business, we have hearing of the audience limited to 15 minutes, individual speakers limited to 2 minutes. These are, let the record show that Dean Milberg has joined the board.
I'm glad to do it.
Hi, Dean.
Sorry, Jim.
So limited to 15 minutes, 2 minutes per speaker. These are on topics that are not on the agenda, so as we get to the budget, we'll be able to have that discussion and people will be allowed to talk to the budget as well. Anyone?
Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
I got with Rick and we put the marks on the ground out there.
Yeah.
Number 2 station for the sign, and we couldn't have put them at a closer place to the electrical and other things that go through there if we tried with an arrow. So we had to go back out, we moved it, and the sign should be going up pretty quick. And it'll be paid for
That
and
sounds great.
doing what it's supposed to do. Other things I would like to ask is, this one-time expense, it was stated in the paper to create an assistant chief position for the term temporarily to groom him for the, well, it says, he has said he had plans to retire as a chief next year, and the governing body was proposed hiring an assistant chief who will take over as a new chief upon Hume's retirement. It was my understanding, 6 months plus, that when that came about, it was going to be an open application.
That's correct.
But if
Let's,
people-
not to be
within the
disrespectful,
department-
let's work on that on the budget, because that's part of the budget.
Okay?
So, just fine. It's a good question. So,
And then another one is the purchase of this property.
That's
I
correct.
understand that
also budget?
they came to an agreement, $1, and I don't understand the 88,000 to.
We'll walk through that. That's another great question. So, not
Can we
trying to
ask
delay the
questions
questions.
at that time?
Yes. Can we ask questions at the time?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So back to your original topic on the sign, do you think we can get the newspaper to take a picture of that and put that in the paper? Just kind of to make a little deal out of that, because that's a neat deal. I was just kind of going back to that. I don't want to lose that topic while I know the budget will be a good topic, so I just wanted to bring that up while we're
Okay.
talking. Anything else that's not on the agenda? Moving on to special reports, Chief.
Nothing?
Items for action, we are going to open the public hearing for 2018 budget. I think we need a motion to open, do we need a motion to open? We need a motion to open the public hearing for the 2018 budget.
I move we open.
There is no limit, but there is a 2-minute timeline per order topic. So why don't we jump into your question?
Or Jeff?
Yeah.
Jeff? Jeez.
Oh, we have to, I'm just
I'll
excited.
get your
to
name
to
here
that.
eventually. Dean, Jeff, Jim.
Hey, Jeff, put it in line.
Dean Milberg,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland.
Yes.
Marcus Major.
Yes.
Jim Freaky,
Yes.
Jeff Clem.
Yes.
Okay, now you can take the public
Okay.
comments.
So would you bring up your topics? Thank you.
Okay, the acquisition of this property, I understand that it was zero cost to us.
We're working on that.
Right.
It has not been
I don't
decided
understand
yet.
why it's not a public thing, because it has to do with the taxpayers. And number, I don't see what should be so secret about it. But anyway, the $88,000, I don't quite understand what that's for, if it's,
Sure.
I mean, you've got electricity here, you've got water here, you've got sewer here, I don't think they're gonna come out on a street and cut the things off, and you're gonna have to redo it. I don't think that justifies 88,000. You know, if it's just
Yeah.
getting your name to pay the bill here.
It's more than that, but, so, to your question, there's a few things that have to be done that we've continued to work on. There is a generator that we will not be attached to going forward. There's a large cost in adding a generator that can support this building. So that is the largest cost. We also have to convert water and ongoing power, and we have an understanding what those amounts might be, but we're no longer negotiating with the prison for those costs. We'll have to incur those costs.
Right.
Yes, so there's open fee or costs associated with what we're, through the purchase of this space, that some will be ongoing and some will be one time. So when you talk about a generator, ongoing power, and electrical and water, and there's also additional costs for the hookups for those that we're still in negotiations on, so we don't know those exact amounts yet. So even though you might buy this building for $1, if that's what we end up agreeing on, there's a large amount that will be for the conversion of the utilities over to where we own those. You want to add some?
Yeah, just clarification, and you're right, probably the general public doesn't realize, we have a 99-year lease from the prison, but they want to eliminate costs. We have no utilities here at all that belong to us.
Well, gas.
Gas, all right.
We pay gas.
Chief has gas, I know. So we have to pipe in the water, hook up electricity, and that is our fee. This is off the prison. They're cutting us off.
So currently, you don't have your own meter, water meter or electric meter?
We do not.
That's correct.
What is the reason that they want to get rid of this property?
I would say the same reason they sold Lost 80 Park. They're cutting costs, their budget's in trouble, and so,
So are you saying then that because of this is why they're going to build a new prison? This is the reason?
We have no clue why they're building a new prison.
So I don't understand why, I don't understand what they're going to gain.
That's a good question.
By giving you this bill, I mean, I don't
Yeah.
understand. Well, how much, what are they gaining? Or, you didn't even buy it for $1.
The way this all started, the city and the prisoner negotiations over the sewer. And so the city is building the institution, the prison, for their sewer. So then the warden came down here and says, well, the city's gonna start building us, so we're gonna start building you for the sewer. And then this is where it came down. I said, fine, whatever. He says, what about your electricity? I said, we're also on your electricity. Well, the warden at the time didn't care. Well, then it went to Topeka. Well, Topeka, with all the budget cuts that's going on with the state, all of a sudden now they see, okay, why are we supporting the fire department's water? Why are we supporting the fire department's sewer? Why are we supporting the fire department's electricity?
Were you providing them free fire service?
We are providing them free fire service.
So we're gonna charge them for
We are
service?
providing the county free fire service. We are providing the school board free fire service.
We started-
We are providing the city school
We
free.
start providing a fee to them for the fire service?
We will not charge the city, we will not charge the county, we will not charge the school district.
Will you
They're
charge-
right there, they're right
Will you charge the
there.
prison?
They're right there in with the rest of them.
No, but will you charge the prison as a state function?
We haven't
How are we gonna do it?
we wanted to, we can't.
We can't. We
They're
can't charge the
They're
city.
exempt, like the school district, like the city.
A lot more than
Taxpayers, yes, but not an entity like the
Yeah.
prison.
So basically with the state, it's a way of, the warden comes down and says, well, we need you to get off our utilities. And it's been an argument for years, well, we can't put utilities into a building you say we do not own. We built this building, and with the 3 wardens ago, it was understood, but we never had a written agreement. It was always, well, we'll take care of it later, we'll take care of it later. Well, now we've got a warden and all the staff are from out of town, so now it's, okay, we're gonna save money, you guys need to get off our utilities.
Do all counties and cities that house a state prison, are they required to provide free service?
Yes.
What, even for the federal institution?
Yes.
For the VA.
How about for the federal prison?
I don't know.
Well, the Fort Leavenworth provides for the federal prison. So remember several years ago, Leavenworth City was charging the VA center $400 and some thousand a year for fire protection, and the VA center come back, well, we're part of the city. The state did the same thing. We're part of the city. The city annexed LCF years ago, they're part of the city. We have to provide them fire protection at a free cost. The city's the same way, school district, the county's the same way.
How many years do we have on this lease left?
It doesn't matter, because they.
We've been here since 1952, and when they built the station back in 1952, you know, there was a guy here maybe 1 or 2 hours a week, and now we've got 3 guys here 24 hours a day, so, I mean, we've gotten a good ride out of this.
So can we offer to pay the bills?
Yeah, what's the utilities run?
Why don't we
How much
pay
they run?
the utilities fee?
We offered that, and the consensus is, no, you need to get on your own utilities.
Well, then how come we don't go to our state legislature and let them go to Topeka and fight for it?
So we're fighting for to stay on the lease versus owning a piece of property that creates a value proposition?
Well, number one, if we're not paying for the lease,
Well-
why, so just hear me out. If we're
Yeah.
not paying for anything now, and now we're going to start paying for something, we're gonna get the property, hopefully for $1, but we're gonna have an $80-some thousand expense because of that.
That's right.
What's our monthly expenditure for utilities currently? It's 0, right?
Right.
So do we have a forecast of what the monthly utilities are gonna be once we get?
We have an understanding, we have a feeling of where they could be. Right now, we're negotiating with all of those groups.
What is the forecasted?
We're estimating power loan's gonna be about $2,500.
Okay.
We do not know because we don't have a meter. So the first year's gonna be a lot of debt,
That,
Is that a month or a year?
a year.
Oh, a year, okay, I was gonna say.
for $80,000, I mean, we're talking, let's say,
For the $80,000, Landell is going to get about $20,000 of it to bring water in, because we can't just bring a 3/4-inch line in here. We have to have a 6-inch main
But don't you
come
have
into
a
the building
You have to have a 6-inch.
to fill the truck.
to fill the trucks and for the domestic service. Westar wants approximately $20,000 to $25,000 to bring their line in from the highway to a pad transformer. And then from the transformer in, it's going to be our expense. The generator's going to be there, plus the electrician, so we're looking right at $80,000 for all 3 utilities.
How you
And that's
filling-
not including sewer,
How you filling the trucks now?
off prison water.
I know, but you don't have to do the
Is that
6-inch
6-inch
line
main?
now.
It's got a 4-inch main coming in.
So
So,
it's a
but
4-inch.
Landell wants to bring a 6-inch across. The price of the pipe is,
No,
between a
it's-
4-inch and a 6-inch, the price of pipe is 50 cents.
So what's the cost of a meter just to switch over to a?
Landell, I have preliminarily talked to Landell, and we're working out, we're not gonna pay, hopefully, we're not gonna pay for water we use out in the bay. It's kind of what we've got out in District 8, it's our Station 2. We don't pay for the water we use outside in the bay, but we do pay for the domestic water.
I mean, what I'm saying is, why are we paying for utility? All we have to do is hook a meter up to measure the amount that we're using.
Well, you're forgetting the
But
second,
again, we have to get off prison water.
yeah, you're forgetting
Like you
the,
said, the line from the current line that's going to the prison.
Yeah.
We're gonna put a junction in and cut over to the,
Yes,
correct?
yes.
So all we need to do is,
Prison makes their own water.
No, they haven't made it for almost a year now.
so just to split, to bring a line into a meter into this facility is not gonna be that bad. I mean,
Landell's estimate was $20,000. Now, that was with the prison, we're hopefully gonna get that down a little bit.
the problem is the environment we're working in is not gonna change, i.e. the prison. As long as the political situation is like it is, the state trying to save money and all that. So the sooner, you resolve the situation, the better it's gonna be, because as time goes on, it's just gonna get worse.
Everything,
And the bottom line is, no matter what it costs, we become self-sufficient. We don't have to worry about all these politics and everything.
everything you folks
It doesn't
have
make
suggested
sense to
tonight,
not
we've
do it,
tried.
to me.
Putting a meter on, let's put a meter on their water, let's put a meter on their power.
That's right.
We have tried all that, and their answer is no, get off of our
And
system.
we tried, we have a lease. We can go with the lease. Yes, you can. There's a 2-year clause. So we want you off our utilities, you have 2 years to do it or leave the building. So our option was deal with them, become ownership of the grounds, the building, do our own utilities, and it's freestanding. Or in 2 years, they could say, hit the road.
And we have met with our legislators, and we've had that conversation with the state.
okay.
Yeah, the simplest idea was, we'll just pay your rent, just a monthly fee, and that didn't go.
That's correct.
We've tried a lot of different ideas.
This thing's been kicked around quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's not something we started on yesterday.
Well, no, but the thing is, it just came in the paper.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, we just get to ask you these questions
That's right.
because
Yeah, and that's fine.
we've been, when you came out to our township meeting, you couldn't say anything about the costs or anything like that. You said
Right.
it was a silent bid process, which I think is a bunch of horse crap. I mean, it's our tax dollars buying this property, funding this property, going forward with this property. Nothing should be hidden.
You know, the sad thing, Brian, is we had to get an appraisal and meet their cost, and we were gonna pay $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for the land. Then it got shuffled around to, well, just take it over, and we'll just give it to you. I mean, that's what we've been playing with for, 5 years.
Yeah.
Some things
Put
you
a
don't
$107,000 roof on this place.
Well, I understand the public, you know.
In all these negotiations, you don't want to publicize a lot.
Well, the thing is, though, the state's
It
going
gets
to do
more
what the state
fun.
wants to do.
Yes.
It has to be public.
Yes. We had it surveyed by, from what the local folks said we could do, and we paid a surveyor, and then Topeka got a hold of it and says, nope, not no, but heck no, you're not doing that. So now we've had it resurveyed this last weekend, and that's the stakes you see up down here. So hopefully, the state will improve this survey, will give us room for expansion in the future.
So you're still negotiating on how much
Well,
land you're
from
going
what-
to get?
Yeah, that's correct. Originally, we wanted all the way to the street, and that's now in discussion. They kind of want the entryway back. We were trying to take over the entryway to the prison. They originally didn't want the entryway, and now they want it.
Why do
So-
they need it?
It's the historical view of the prison.
Correct.
Is what they cited us.
Yeah.
So we couldn't put anything to block it from the road to the front gate.
So they're forcing us to take what we get.
To a smaller piece of property, which works for.
Well, if we can't expand, then you
Well-
probably want to build another fire station.
Well, our original survey went 50,
Come on now, let's not act like that's going to go beyond question.
That's not even a possibility.
Yeah.
Not while I'm here.
So
So,
can I ask a quick question? Where are the utilities coming from? Are they coming from Kansas?
right now,
No, right now you're getting them from the prison, but when you do this $80,000
the
remodel,
power will come in from Main Street,
okay?
and the water will come in from Kansas.
Yeah, but
And that's
we're
not even
already
talking
there.
about sewer. We're not even talking about sewer
But
yet.
you're already hooked up to sewer.
We're hooked up to LCF sewer.
Yeah.
They're gonna cut that off, and we're.
They're gonna cut it off.
Looking at the museum next door, too. They're in the same boat we are. They're gonna be
Okay,
cut
I was
off.
going to ask you that, the museum's having to go through the same process.
Well, nobody knows that yet, because I just found it out Friday,
They're on the same sewer we are. So they'll have that issue at least.
so.
maybe they'll throw
The city's gonna find out about it when we find out for sure what LCF's doing.
Are you guys going to publicize all these documents of what's been transpiring,
When the final amounts are
tallied?
tallied and discussed, we will talk about it here. I don't have any issue with publishing.
No, we have to, I mean, that's. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if we do, you know, what we do with the water, it's gonna be what Landell's gonna charge us.
You're
Does it have to
asking,
be Landell? Can it
Yes, because
be-
it's Landell's pipe.
Oh, yeah.
But can we?
It has to be their contractor, so we will pay their contractor. Same with Westar, we will have to use their contractor. Now, that's up to the transformer, now from the transformer on will be our
And
contract.
do we set that up for bid?
Yes,
For local bid?
do the
absolutely,
bid process, same
Yeah,
bid
we're
process
always
we use on
not.
all of them.
absolutely on bids.
Yeah.
I have a question. Why are we getting a transformer?
I have to have a transformer. You mean a generator or a transformer?
Well, you're saying the transformer or a
Okay,
generator.
the power comes in at 7,200 volts.
Okay.
The big green box that sits behind your house, or the aerial box that sits up behind your,
Right.
that steps down the electricity to what we can use. So we have to have the transformer.
Yes.
The generator is what we have to have when we have a tornado or a big storm and all the power goes out.
We gotta have backup.
We've got to have that because this is an emergency station. We have to have electricity here. If you'll remember years ago, when we had that semi-quasi tornado come through, and Mayor Bernard come down here, and we had firemen running around, and he said, well, why aren't we having this command post at City Hall? And I said, do you have electricity at City Hall tonight? And he goes, no, we have electricity here. But that was on LCS generator. So we have to have a generator. By NFPA standards, we have to have a generator. Our Station 2 has a generator. Every fire
Transformer
station will see a generator.
step up voltage or the reduced voltage.
Yeah.
So
Transformer is just a power thing. You have to have it.
Sorry.
The power
No, you're
manipulation.
fine.
Know that.
You're fine.
It's just.
No, you're fine.
I think the takeaway should be, we didn't get to see the questions, so you have all the same questions we've been pounding on Rick about, having discussions with the warden. I've been in some of those discussions, and we agree that we would have liked to have, and we still are going to try and negotiate those down, those prices. We're still in the process of doing that. Our hope is to be able to continue to negotiate that down. So it'd be great to, as we go out to the bid on a generator, to get a different price. It's still going to be some number that's significant, so we really can't make that reduction to zero. So,
That's not what I'm asking, I'm just trying to see, make sure we're not over-sizing everything or overestimating everything to get a large budget just to have a fallback.
No.
I mean, it needs to be a pretty tight.
that's right.
budget.
No, we're taxpayers too, so.
No, I understand that, but
So, the
The
one time.
perception, what you're saying, the perception, what you saw in the paper and then the perception of,
Please don't rely on the paper.
I got
I
it.
find that you can rely on almost anybody.
I read
The sad thing is, we wasted a lot of time negotiating with a warden who thought he had the power to make decisions and did not.
And we've been through the same boat.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you have to make all those changes next year? Can you do part of the next year and part of the year after to lessen the budget impact?
Well, we're trying to do part of it this year and complete it next year. So we
So
can
you're
do it
gonna
2
come back
years.
and ask for another mill levy
No,
raise next year?
No, that's what we're trying to do. We're gonna try to do part of
I
it
don't
this
think
year
legally we
and part of it
can.
next year.
Can't.
We're capped, man. We had the public vote on that. There's no more increases. That's my opinion. We'll probably have a discussion here at some point, but I don't think that mill can go any higher than where it's at.
Yeah, it's
Well, I
maxed
thought
out.
you
Well, what are we gonna
raising
ask
it.
Like, hang on a sec. She asked for an additional increase in the mill, not the one we're currently talking about. Are we gonna come back next year for another
For a
one?
future bill.
We're sitting at 8.998. And we put it out to the vote of the people that said we cannot go 9 or above. And they said, no, you have to go back out for another vote of the people to go at 9 or above. That's how I understand that vote. So
And as long as you stay below that 9, you can vote amongst yourselves to decide on the increase.
that is correct.
That's how it's read.
That's how I read it too. We're on the same page. So there's discussion around, can we go higher? But when you go out to a vote of the people, I have a very strong opinion, they made the decision. So we'd have to go back out and have that conversation.
And tonight, you're voting on if you're gonna raise it to what you're asking for now.
That's correct. The $80,000 increase. It's I don't like having that discussion. I understand fixed income, so we're talking $8. It's still meaningful for fixed income and all of the people where you're gonna get hit with taxes from the city, or if they're gonna increase, there's all those that get added into something higher than 8. I get it.
A lot of
So,
people don't understand how the mill levy is equated down to your tax dollars.
sure.
And I think that's important to know, and you have my information.
I give that
We're
to
gonna
you.
cover that.
You have your valuation numbers in your head on a $150,000 valuation home, on how much we pay. You agree?
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Let's just grab that, so we can give them that feedback.
I
You know,
want
for
to put
every
something else up
thousand-
here, when we talked about what you were doing with the prison as far as their sewer, they have always paid for their sewer, so it sort of sounded like, since we are charging them, they're doing this. They've always paid their sewer bill. This is nothing new about this. The way I heard it was, you.
That is how it
you're
was
thinking,
phrased. I
It's
think
the city's fault because now they're charging them sewer. They've
That's
been paying
correct.
sewer all along.
you're advocating for an increase to bring them up to what's everyone else is paying.
And we're running into the same problem you are.
Yes.
And there's nothing we can do because we can't shut them off.
We misstated that, that's right.
And they've never paid what they cost.
No, and I didn't mean to say the city
Is that
cost.
discounted rate?
This is where it started.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
They
what?
just won't pay it.
They're not paying their sewer?
They're paying.
They're paying what they want to
What
pay,
they want to
basically.
pay.
Okay,
They're also selling parkland and they're doing all kinds of,
Silly stuff.
yeah.
We'll talk after.
All
okay,
right.
$100,000 house is $103, 150 is $155, and 200,000 is $206
Per year.
per year.
Yeah, that's pretty significant.
For a $100,000 home what was the number?
103.
103.
They only have like 10. huh?
$9 $9 a month.
It's a little less than $9 a month. So it's, you're correct, it's me.
On top of all the other recent increases that we have.
Okay, here it says $8 per year. Right here, you want to read it?
I do not want to read
It
it.
does say $8
Right here.
It was an $8 increase per
Somebody made a
year. Yes,
mistake there.
That's the increase.
that's the increase.
For the owner of a $200,000 home by about $8 per year.
That's correct.
From this year, it's an $8 increase per year.
It's like,
Not per month, not per day, per year.
per year.
So 40 cents a month is what you're paying, would be paying additional.
But most of us have houses over 200,000.
Then it's $1.20
A month,
a month. Yeah.
a month.
Say it's a $200,000 home. It's,
My personal concern about this is that we seem to always be raising money. I mean, I went back and pulled all of my paperwork today just to have a good look at this. And we have been raising the mill levy over the last, I think 2013 was the only one that was fairly straight as far as the fire district is concerned. Every other year, it has been raised. And we can't continue to do that. I mean, the city is trying to flatten out, in fact, trying to give money back to the taxpayer. The county is flattened out, the city of Leavenworth is flattened out. We can't constantly do this. This is really, it makes us look like this is a wonderful fire station with wonderful firefighters, but they can't get a handle on their money. And that's what it looks like to me.
I take exception to that.
I think one of the things that we could probably do is walk through what the area, what the other areas surrounding us pay for fire. And I think you'd be real pleased that we are well within, we're extremely frugal with how much we spend. So if you want to start comparing us to all the surrounding fire departments and what Rick does with the money we give him, he does miracles with the amount of money that he gets. We have been bringing him since 2013 back into something that's a little more realistic. And the fact that the guys haven't had a raise 6 years straight, and over the last few years, we've given them some increases. There's things that have to be done to be competitive. So I would say that I think your point's well made, but there are things as we try and bring this fire station to something that's still extremely frugal compared to where other stations are at, to where we need to be to make sure folks are safe. I'm the first one to argue with him on any kind of an increase. So whether it's a truck or any of those types of things. So your points on the increases, they continue to go up. We shouldn't see that going forward. I think it's a great point. We've talked about the cap that we're sitting at. So it does look and is perceived by how it continues to go up every year. I think we can tell a better story, which the optics of that on where the other groups are at compared to what we have and what other groups are paying. You know, we don't, with Leavenworth, with Bonner Springs, with, I mean, you're glad once you see those numbers, you'll be glad where we're sitting. So it's, but we could tell that story better. I think that's a fair point.
But by the same token, you mentioned the city and the county, et cetera. This is our only source of income, period. I mean, once we approve this budget, that's all we've got. We don't have a handle on sales tax or any other revenue-generating source. This is it for us, period. So mills to mills, yes, but you have to look at the entities and if they have other sources of income. The fire district does not.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing I'd like for you to think about too, is this is not some trivial operation. We got very expensive equipment that the cost to maintain it and buy replacement parts and all that accelerate quite heavily, you know. So if we're gonna maintain the level that this fire station has provided the citizens of 3 entities, we have got to keep up with inflation. We've got to keep up with tires. You don't know what tires cost. And you don't know what hydraulic pumps cost. And air packs, you have to replace them ever so often, and they are so expensive. And you don't have an option. A lot of our stuff is mandated by regulations, all kind of regulations. And a lot of it has to do with the safety of the fireman. You don't put outdated equipment on a fireman, you know, then you're really in trouble. Well, first of all, you're not doing him any favors whatsoever. So this is the kind of thing you gotta think about what our job is. And these 5 men on this, the 5 people on this board, that's what we're responsible for. And we have the regulations behind us to do what we think is right.
Jim, I'll step in here for a minute. I see that you're pretty passionate about this, and that's why we appointed you in your position. With that being said, I don't think anybody in this room wants to send one of these gentlemen out in the field and put them in a situation that they can't get out of. But with government spending, state spending, everybody's spending, you have to understand from this side of the aisle, we need to slow that shit down. And the thing is, I hate to say that, yes, you are your own entity. Yes, you are. Sorry for that, that's the way it is. Now,
Well, we don't want trucks to send them away without being able to use them.
You got excited, I got excited, you're all our same township, so hopefully we won't get excited together. But the thing is, for your 2017 budget last year alone, you budgeted for, how much was your salary in that budget last year, 2017?
Ours? We don't pay ourselves anything.
We don't.
Well, on that spreadsheet you sent out on your budget analysis.
I think it's $10 a month and then we give it all back.
Okay, it says,
Each one of you get 10, so that's 50 bucks.
We don't get anything.
no, not the board budget, the fire department budget. It was the budget of, what, a little over $500,000.
Okay.
You spent 47, 48% of that? Where'd the other money go?
On payroll?
On payroll. I'm just going off the spreadsheet that you provided us. So if you
We're
have a
halfway through
spreadsheet
the
you
year.
sent out.
On 2017, yeah, we're still going through the year. So it's a rolling,
Okay, but where we're at, are we gonna be at 100% of that budget?
we're usually within 98 to a little bit over.
Okay, because I was trying to do the math, and, you know,
Yeah.
and we're not gonna hit 100% of that budget.
Well, we're right in the middle of fire season, so.
We hit it
yeah.
within probably $3,000 or $4,000 every year.
Okay,
Yeah.
those are the things I'm asking
That's-
about.
yeah.
And to her point, increasing mill levy just because, yes, you can put hydraulic pumps, air packs, whatever you want to on that with the cost of inflation. I understand that, but we also are here to hold everybody accountable, make sure that our tax dollar isn't going
That's right.
into a fund to buy something cool just because we need it for a parade or something of that nature.
That's right. Yeah,
Well,
if we
that's
needed that,
about-
he'd have a ladder truck, so we don't have a ladder truck. So that's your parade truck.
These
So-
pumpers, we buy, what you just brought up, these nice parade trucks. The pumper we just bought for $500 and some odd $1,000, it's in production now. The same pumper, go down to Stanley, Stillwell area, they buy the same trucks we do, those trucks are over $800,000 down there. Because they've got bells and whistles that we don't
don't put
have.
anything extra on
You go
them.
back east, you'll see Yosemite Sam on the side of the trucks, and you'll see these big murals on the side of the trucks. They're the exact same truck we buy, but they've got a lot more bells and
Put a lot more
whistles.
whistle
Open the
door.
door, the steps fold down.
How long
But
does
Rick,
this last?
if you remember the.
We're getting 20 to 25 years
I
out.
was gonna say
So,
25 years.
how old are your trucks?
Our oldest one right now is 26 years, and we're trying to get rid of it. That's the one we're getting rid of.
And where's that at?
Right here.
Which one?
Right here.
Which truck's out?
That truck out there is 8 years old.
It's 8 years old. Okay.
Yeah.
But last year's fire board meeting that I attended, we stated that we were gonna be good for at least 3-4 years on equipment. And now we're already buying a truck.
We bought it, the truck was what we purchased last year.
Yeah, we
I know,
purchased this truck
but
last year.
last year, we were talking about not needing any more equipment.
After that purchase.
Was it after that purchase?
It was after that purchase. Yeah, we didn't.
Sure,
buy-
Jeff?
I am sure.
Okay. I'm just
He's been
making sure-
pushing for a truck for 3
Okay.
years, so I know how
I'm just
long he's
making sure we're
been
getting,
nipping at
you
us.
know,
And
everything
we almost didn't buy that truck.
Yeah.
Because we kept saying, well, we'll just keep replacing all the pumps, we'll just keep welding the holes, we'll just keep, and when you start adding it up, and he goes, okay, if we wait another year, that truck is an extra 150,000. What? Okay, you wait another year, it's another 150,000, so now what will you get for 500,000, you're gonna pay 750,000 in 2 years, like,
Yeah, it was-
Jesus,
it was-
inflation doesn't catch up to that, what are we paying for?
Yeah.
So it's either pay me now or pay me
That
later.
was the decision tree, was how much they're going up every year compared to us holding off a year.
because we tried,
It was crazy.
it was a long discussion up here to, I'm all about maintenance. Well, we can do this, and we can do that, and we can cost it, we can save here. And it kept coming down to, okay, look, the truck is 25 years old. You're gonna try to get it to 30 years. Okay, you're gonna have this discussion in 5 years with taxpayers that you just bought a truck for $825,000 that you could have bought 3 years ago for $505,000. Now explain that to your taxpayers.
No.
Like, yeah, okay, I can't explain that. I can't justify that one.
Yes, ma'am.
But don't set the prices.
Well,
That's the-
hindsight's 50/50, and maybe we wouldn't have bought this new pickup truck that the guys are using to come in from Station 2. We would have been in a whole different ballgame. We wouldn't be talking about tax levies, but we can't see things like that. But the thing that I cannot comprehend is, before we got the pickup, the guys they were on duty out there in here, always had the fire truck with them if they were on duty, because they always had to be prepared if they got a call to go. Okay, well, I'm thinking, now they got a pickup truck. That pickup truck is not a fire truck. Say they're in Dillon. Okay, we're back to square one from 3 years ago. Now they've got to drive either here or there to go get a truck to go. What does that do to your response time? It squashes it, and it squashes it fast.
Well, we bought the pickup to be a utility vehicle, you know. I mean,
I
when
see
you're
it
going
more than I
when
see
you're going on a
trucks.
call, yeah, you take, but we were having to drive fire trucks back and forth just for utility purposes.
Because they had to, the guys are on duty, have to have them.
Yeah, but it's not cost effective to be driving a big fire truck back and forth, putting the mileage and the wear and tear.
Jim, you get a call, you're gonna, what does it do to your response time? You were the one that was pushing, let's.
Well, the board up here, in conjunction with Rick, is responsible for doing operational decisions. And that's
You're
what we
also
do.
appointed by High Prairie to take your citizens, if on High Prairie's consideration into effect before you vote.
Do you have any more budget questions?
I'm done.
Thank you. I appreciate your comments. Anybody else? No more color? All right. Thank you.
Want some?
No. You can have some, we'll take it, but if not, we're good. We need a motion.
I'm gonna blame the museum on you if we got a fire.
I was thinking maybe we'll throw it in our price point of $1 and we'll take that over and give it to you guys.
I do have one more thing.
Yes,
It's a
ma'am.
good thing.
Yeah,
The prison has been stated as the historic places and parks.
that's a good thing. What, say it again?
The prison
Yeah,
is now under the National Historical Places and Parks.
interesting. Probably why the entryway is now back off.
That's why it's so important to
That's, yeah,
So see, they're going, when they start doing their little
That's a
tours
good
and
point.
stuff, they're gonna generate money.
yes. We need a motion to close the public hearing for 2018 budget.
I move we close it. Second.
We now need a motion to approve the 2018 budget. Yes, we need, we got a vote already. I get excited. A couple years, I'm new to this.
Watch me, Jeff. Yes.
Dean Milburn,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland.
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Freaky,
Yes.
Jeff Clem.
Yes. We need a motion to approve the 2018 budget as published.
So moved.
A second?
Dean Milburn,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Marcus Major,
Yes.
Jim Freaky,
Yes.
Jeff Clem.
Yes. Moving on to item D on items for action, the second quarter 2017 treasury report. Jim?
Yeah, I'll give you a copy of it. Let me get my notes. We're doing real well tracking with, we track our budget on straight line, divide the year up into 12 months, and that gives us flexibility to go up and down. It's so hard to program on individual bolts and nuts and all that. So anyway, the straight line that we're looking at for this second quarter is 50%. 6 months over 12 months is 50%. And right now, we have three cost lines: personnel, other than personnel, and of course the total. So the personnel line as of the end of June, is at 43.15%, which is 6.85 under straight line, which gives us some flexibility going into the following part of the year. Now, getting back to the question that you had, our budget is just a pot of money. We are not limited to a fixed personnel line, we can transfer money any way the board wants. So that's the reason I say it gives us flexibility. If our personnel costs continue to run a little bit under straight line and we need some money and another thing, we can reprogram it. So that goes across the board. Now, that was overall 6.5%. Personnel is running at about 5.26% as at the end of July under straight line. The non-salary is running right now at 10.13%. So that gives us a good bit of flexibility if we have unforeseen expenses. Now to equate the overall under straight line at 6.85%, that amounts to $78,411 just as a yardstick. So that is a snapshot of our second quarter budget, January through June.
It never stays there. We build these credits and then we start giving them back as we get into fire season and as the season progresses. So it's nice that we're under, but that's historically the trend. Anything else, Jim?
Not on the board.
Okay. I need a motion to approve the second quarter report.
I move that we do the second quarter 2017 Treasurer's Report as stated.
Dean Mulberg.
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland.
Yes.
Marcus Major.
Yes.
Jim Frankie.
Yes.
Jeff Clement.
Yes. There are no items for discussion. Board member concerns. Jim?
Well-
Or Jim?
Me, Jim?
Yeah.
Jim W.
Just fine. Jim? Yes. None? Marcus?
None.
Jim?
Nothing.
The only thing I'd like to say is some good points were brought up for information sharing with the community and the taxpayers. Something may not have been brought out across the board too is our cadet program. We're dealing with the high school. Things like that, when it gets rolling, then yes, we publicize what's going on, but in a nutshell, we're getting six juniors, seniors to come down, and by the time they graduate, they get credits, high school and college, get firefighter 1, 2, and maybe driver operator?
No, maybe, well, we'll work on hazmat later.
Okay, but at least that. Our goal is when they turn 18, they can be a volunteer. But this is something just started, and KCK jumped in and wanted us to open it up to Leavenworth, Piper, Baser. We'll get it going first and see how things run. But things like this are not general knowledge to the public yet. When it comes, it will be.
When is the expected start date?
We're
It was
starting,
last year, but now it's been backed up.
Yeah, we talked about it last year.
school had jumped into it and it became a cornerstone program. And that curriculum is there already. So they had criteria to meet before they even opened the kids up to us, which is good. They're kind of weeding them out, so the ones we get should be interested in firefighting as a career. So the paperwork there, they're starting with sophomores for the prerequisites before they can even get to us. So it's done very formal, and it'll be I think, an excellent
From a
program.
timing, when do you see that program starting?
Supposed
After
to
the summer?
start this semester,
This semester?
Yes.
in September,
Yep.
August.
That's a huge win. We've been pushing that thing for a few years now, so
It's political, so it takes time.
that's a big deal.
That's all I have.
The only thing I'll add is, seeing Ms. Pulaski here, so we owe you guys some information. I just want to put that out there that Rick has gotten me a lot of that, so we're going to compile that and get that to your team. So, just FYI there. And that was in the last meeting, she asked for some, or it came through in an email, but we talked about it in the last meeting about information, just performance numbers and other things. Moving on to, we need a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Dean Milburn,
Yes.
Jim Westmoreland,
Yes.
Marcus Major, Mark, Jim Franklin,
Yes.
Jeff Clapp.
Yes. Yeah, what do you got?
I had a quick question on the assistant chief position.